the lower level guys that the Pirates have acquired, and these lottery ticket guys that you really don't know what they're going to be until you get them in the system. And a huge shout out to the scouting department for seeing this Jesus Valdez guy. I mean, he was decent last season, but he was batting 230 in his first season ever as a professional baseball player, age 20. It was a toss up, okay, and really still, we won't necessarily know what Jesus Valdez is going to turn into until he gets to time at Bradenton, until he gets to Altoona. But yes, he is 21 years old right now. And yes, he's a little bit old to be at short season Bristol, but he's there and he is tearing it up. A 400 on base clip. The other thing that I do want to point out one more time is the fact that he has only struck out 32 times in 43 games. That is elite type stuff, especially in this day and age of baseball where guys strike out at clips that is unheard of. You have some of the best players even on this Pirates team today. Like, you look at the best player on this team, it is Josh Bell, but he has struck out 105 times in 118 games. You take a solid player, okay, and some of them do strike out more times than the games that they've played. You take Gregory Polanco, for example, 42 games, 49 strikeouts. Like, it happens, and it happens for good players such as Gregory Polanco. Josh Bell, 105 strikeouts in 118 games. I really like the fact that as a 21-year-old prospect, that he is a disciplined hitter, 400 on base, striking out 32 times in 43 games, walking 17 times in 43 games. And that ratio is key too. The strikeout to walk ratio as a batter, he is walking 17 times 32. That is an elite ratio to have right there. And I do like his isolated power rates. It's at 145. That is above average, so the solid WRC plus of 137. And what I really like to see is his slugging percentage is 54 points higher than it was last year at 466. And that's going to happen when last year was his first year in professional baseball, age 20. Age 21, he is taking that nice jump. And in this progression, I would assume that we would probably see him in AA Altoona at some point in 2020, if not 2021. So if you're looking at a potential ETA for Jesus Valdez, I would say 2024, maybe 25. He is still a bit of a project as he is just in short A Bristol right now. But again, the Pirates have so much infield depth in the prospect system that it shouldn't be a problem moving forward. You got Cole Tucker, Kevin Kramer, O'Neal Cruz, Kevin Newman, Ke'Bryan Hayes, and then coming in after him, Stephen Alamace, who'll be coming back from surgery next year. Ji Hwang Bai is going to be moving up through the system. O'Neal Cruz. Like, the Pirates have a lot of infield talent, and Jesus Valdez is only going to add to that as we move forward into the future. And it's nice to evaluate this trade about a year later than it has happened. And for what the Dodgers were trying to do with acquiring David Freese, I would say it definitely has worked out for them nicely. And for what the Pirates were trying to do with getting a lottery ticket type prospect and seeing where he's progressing right now, and if we're looking to project him and his track moving forward, I'd say it's worked out very nicely for the Pirates as well. And while I still believe Neil Huntington has to go, kudos to him and the scouting department on finding the Jesus Valdez guy. And, you know, it's nice because he's not a household name yet and at all in terms of the prospect guys in the system. And it may be your first time ever hearing about Jesus Valdez, but it's nice that we get to talk about it here on the show and just shed light to that. And we'll keep tabs on Jesus Valdez as he moves his way through the system in the Pirates organization. The Pirates upset the divisional rival Cubs in the opening game of the series on Friday night. Multiple young Pirates players were involved in the spectacular walk-off victory. Friday night for the Pirates showcased a interdivision matchup against the rival Chicago Cubs. Friday night, the Pirates held a record of 50-70, and the Cubs held a record of 64-57. To start the weekend series, the Pirates sent Joe Musgrove to the mound to face Kyle Hendricks of Chicago. Hendricks is a formidable opponent, but only when he is pitching at home and not against the Pirates. Hendricks owns a 3.48 ERA on the year, but has a 5.16 ERA on the road, and hasn't recorded a win against the Pirates in his last 5 starts. Musgrove entered the game with a 4.71 ERA and desperately needed a win under his belt after a few disastrous starts. Surprisingly, the first 3.5 innings of the game featured an impressive pitching duel. It certainly appeared like both Musgrove and Hendricks had quality pitches and decent control. The Pirates broke the pitching standoff in the bottom of the fourth to score first with a Starling Marte single, a stolen base, and a Colin Moran single. After the fourth inning, the game was really put on cruise control. The Pirates would hold their 1-0 lead for the majority of the game. Hendricks pitched 7 full innings, giving up only 3 hits and 1 earned run. Musgrove matched Hendricks pitch for pitch through 7, but did not meet success when he attempted to continue his run into the 8th inning. Jonathan Lucroy and Ian Happ would both get 1-out singles for the Cubs in the 8th inning. This would be enough to get Hurdle to switch to the ever-reliable Felipe Vasquez. While Vasquez's scorecard will not show any runs, the Pirates closer would give up a triple to Tony Kemp. Both of Musgrove's runs would score and give the Cubs a 2-1 lead. A walk and a double play later, the Pirates would enter the bottom of the 8th down a run. The Cubs sent out David Phelps to pitch the bottom of the 8th, and Phelps kept the lead for the Cubs. Hurdle countered with Cuny Kella in the 9th, who pitched another clean inning minus 1 stray walk. With 3 outs to go, a 1-run deficit felt like a lot for a Pirates team that had been quiet at the plate for most of the night. But the team would not go down without a fight. With 1 out in the 9th, Brian Reynolds would start the rally against Cubs pitcher Kyle Ryan. Ryan was quickly replaced by Brandon Kinsler, and things would go quickly downhill for the Cubs. After a Marte groundout, Josh Bell, Moran, and then Cole Tucker all drew walks, with Tucker scoring the Pirates the tying run. Kevin Newman then stepped up to the plate and laced a single up the middle for a walk-off win. While the Pirates have looked rough as of late, this win felt great for the club, having Reynolds, Newman, and Tucker intimately involved in the walk-off really brought some hope to the forefront for the 2020 season and beyond. Let's hope some of these young players can keep up the great play. And really, that's what was so special about Friday night, last night for the Pittsburgh Pirates. I was at the game, and it was exciting. Like, if the Pirates were in a playoff race, and the atmosphere that it was there, it was a big crowd. The Pirates were playing the Cubs. You know, we had the Free Shirt Friday going. It was a dollar dog night, and excitement was back at PNC Park in that bottom of the 9th inning. It was a loud stadium. People were on their feet. They were cheering, and it did feel like as if we were in the midst of a playoff run, and we're not. You know, we're 51-71, the second worst team in the National League, the 7th worst team in all of baseball, and all of that is true. But last night really gave me hope, and probably a lot of fans hope for the future. And it was nice to see Brian Reynolds, Kevin Newman, Cole Tucker, you know, intimately involved in that walk-off win, all playing big roles in the win. And that's what really the rest of the season needs to be. It needs to be these young guys getting opportunities. And really what frustrated me today about, and we'll get into this later in the show, is Eric Gonzalez still playing over Cole Tucker and seeing other guys who really, you know, shouldn't be there. I don't want to see Adam Frazier getting more starts. We see what he can do. Give that job to Cole Tucker or Kevin Kramer or somebody who could be a part of that next Pirates World Series team. Same deal at third base with Colin Moran. I want to see Key Brian Hayes here. I want to see Will Craig here. Give these guys opportunities. And you look in the outfield. Where is Jason Martin? Why is he in AAA? Okay? Like there are moves that Pirates management needs to make down the stretch, and I get that a lot of these are inevitably going to take place in September, where it's much easier to expand your roster and have those 40 guys here. But at the same token, there's no point in running out guys who you know are not going to be a part of that next, you know, championship Pirates baseball club, the next playoff Pirates baseball club. There's no point in running them out on a day-to-day basis like they've been doing. And that's why it was exciting to see Brian Reynolds, Kevin Newman, Cole Tucker, the young Bucks going out there and playing and showing what they can do. And really, and here's the thing, I was thinking about this last night while I was at the game. And you just look at the lineup that they have and the talent that this team has. This team is too talented, has too much talent on it to be a 51-71 team. Has too much talent to ever have a stretch where they go 7-26 or 4-24 like they have done post All-Star break. There's too much talent on this team. And when they lost that 9th straight series after dropping the series to the Cardinals, it just made me think, like, that was 9 straight series, the first time that has happened since 2001. And that 2001 team was bad. Like, no talent bad. Like, AAA roster type bad. This 2019 team is not bad. Keep in mind, everybody, that we're a year removed from when this team had a winning season, and really, for the majority of the season leading up to the All-Star break, all the first half. This was a competitive team, and we all expected that this team could make some sort of playoff run, or at least be in it down the stretch. And clearly that hasn't happened. And for whatever reason, I think a lot of that blame has to go to management. In all honesty, if they do run this group back out there, this team has the talent and the ability to do it. They just need the leadership and the pieces around them to take that next step. Okay, and I was really doing some thinking. So 2011, 2012, and I feel like this could be a 2012 type year where the players and the guys can take this into 2020. Right, 2012, the Pirates had a collapse. I mean, this collapse is even worse, but they collapsed. But you can learn through losing and take this, especially as young players. When most of these guys haven't dealt with losing, haven't dealt with failure, but they're dealing with it, and they're dealing with it at the major league level, where there is a lot of scrutiny and a lot of criticism from the media, from the fans, from a lot of people. And it's their first time ever dealing with this as young baseball players, and they're dealing with it together, and it makes them grow closer together and build that team chemistry. This team has the ability to be exciting, and when they're winning, when they're playing well, they're the most exciting team in all of baseball, in my opinion, to watch. Like, this team never fails to entertain. Sure, they are 20 games under 500. That is a fact and the reality that we have to deal with. But at the same time, they're an exciting team to watch. They're probably the most exciting, like, I'm not going to call them a bad baseball team, but, like, if you look at the record, yes, they're bad, right? But they're most exciting, air quotes, bad team in all of baseball. Like, there's just a ton of talent on this team, and for whatever reason, it hasn't panned out. And that's unfortunate, and again, that goes back to the reality that Bob Nutting and upper management need to hold these guys accountable. Accountability is a part of life, and that was the biggest message from last week's episode. It was accountability is a part of life, and no matter what the case is, you cannot have as bad of a stretch as the Pirates had and guys not being held accountable. It just cannot happen, but it did happen. And I still do think changes need to be made for this team to be successful moving forward, but the talent is clearly there. It clearly is. And the biggest thing the rest of the way is going to be getting extended looks at young players. You get those extended looks and you see, hey, what do we have for 2020? What moves do we have to make in the offseason? Are we going to go into that full rebuild? What are we going to do? And that's what really needs to be seen the rest of the way. Not giving veteran guys who aren't going to be a part of the next winning Pirates team opportunities, but giving the young guys, and that's what's going to make it exciting for fans as well. The fans don't want to see the veterans go out there and play baseball. They want to see the young guys go out there and earn jobs for 2020 and beyond. That's what needs to be seen. Because really, too, you can separate, weed out what talent you have and see what you have. Okay, spring training is great. And, when it's happening, it's like, wow, we have baseball back. But this is regular season Major League Baseball where these games matter. They may not matter win-loss wise for the Pirates, but these games against the Cubs matter. The Cubs not only are fighting for a division title, but they're fighting even to make the playoffs. These games matter, and when you get games like Friday night, last night, that is what's going to make the rest of this 2019 season exciting, and in all honesty, worth watching. So, again, the three guys I think that we need to pay attention to on the stretch are Kevin Newman, Brian Reynolds, and Cole Tucker, although he should be gone by the time Jose Osuna gets back, just having him up here to add that extra depth on Clint Hurdle's bench. The Pittsburgh Pirates might be struggling right now, but they have plenty to be happy about in the minors. This includes 4 prospects who have been named All-Stars. The Pittsburgh Pirates short season advanced baseball team is stationed in Morgantown, West Virginia. They are a part of the New York Penn League, and while they are below low A, this level is higher than the Gulf Coast League. Typically, teams send their recent college draft picks to the New York Penn League. That is what the Pittsburgh Pirates have always done, and now a few of those recent college draftees have been elected to the New York Penn League All-Star Game. All in all, the Pittsburgh Pirates have a total of 4 prospects going into the game, with 3 of them being 2019 draft picks. One of those draft prospects is outfielder Blake Sable. The Pittsburgh Pirates drafted Sable in the 7th round out of the University of Southern California. In college, he caught, however. The Bucks are using